Chaim, Chaim. Farbrengen is under the sisma, under the saying of V'hachai yitin liboy. That in the literal sense, someone passes away, so those that are alive have to put it to their heart. And really, after Shvat Ches, that was like for a long time the motto where the Rebbe was speaking by the Farbrengens, V'achai yitin liboy. Actually, Shvat Ches, I was on Shlichus in Yerushalayim and Teresemes. I wasn't there. But I remember the first time I saw the video from the Levaya of Shvat Ches, you could see the Rebbe so broken, so zerbrochen. I mean, never saw before such a zerbrochenkeit by the Rebbe. In ganzen zerbrochen, a lot of crying, a lot of avelus that was in his house. But then the Rebbe went and he turned this whole thing, V'achayit naliboy, that it should come out into Heisofe, an addition in Torah, addition in Tefillah and Tzedakah, addition in the Meistes, which goes along with the Rebbe's mahalach. The Rebbe's way of, in general, was that no matter what it is, you gotta go higher. You gotta use it as a base to pick you up to a higher level of Avodas Hashem. And the Rebbe took Chof B'Shvat and said, you know what? It's to be a Yosef. The whole thing is to bring Mashiach closer, and we have to take it to heart, to make a Yosef in whatever we could to bring Mashiach even closer. This is one point clear in the Rebbe's Sichos. Whether we understand what happened, whatever, but it's for sure something that has to do with bringing Mashiach even closer, and we each have to think what we could do. And interesting thing, I saw the story. It was published, but I remember hearing it. I had a chavrusa in the Torah. His name was Shlomo Humener, shlich in the city of Florida. So he came Chof B'Shvat. He went and he printed a kovitz with the prokim of Mishnayos on the Rebbetz's name, Chaim Mushke. He had no deep, high thing. Yeah, something should be put together. So he put together something, and it was like a bocher job. You could the copy machine, and you copied the Mishnayos, you cut and paste, and you put together the kovitz. And he figured, you know what? I'll give one to the Rebbe. You give one to the Rebbe. All of a sudden, the masker, the secretary of Label Groner, comes running after him, catches him by an arm. Urgent. Mohir. When the Rebbe wanted something quick, mohir. There's a mistake on the cover of this booklet. Instead of saying Tafshin Nun Beis, it was Tafshin Nun Aleph. They should quickly fix it. This was a yard, I think, a few years later. So this was a bochuru, they're thinking I'm going to do it, and the Rebbe had a tremendous isyachsus to it, and l'schus ye'omer that there's a big union of learning Mishnayos in this day. The point is, everyone could do something. This person, everyone in their thing. We had to find a way to use it out to be able to bring us up to a higher level, to be Meisif more. And we know it by the Rebbe. This is the whole thing. not to be satisfied where we are, Meilim Bakedish. You always have to higher and hecher and hecher, noch hecher, lichtiker, just make more. And whatever it is, the Rebbe was never satisfied. I spent in Kharkov a few months. The shliach there was Rabbi Moshe Moskowitz. So I was there, Tov Shenun Beis, 1992. He tells me a year before on Sukkot, he made a Simcha B'S HaShe'eva in the streets of Kharkov. This is in the streets of Kharkov. This is right when the communist curtain fell down, and in Kharkov, there was still a trace of communism. And there was 40,000 people in the streets for Simchas B'S HaShe'eva. This was an amazing thing. He goes by for dollars. Rebbe Gromner tells the Rebbe the whole excitement. He made a Simchas B'S HaShe'eva in Kharkov. There's 40,000 people on the streets. The Rebbe takes another dollar and gives it to him. It's a pseudo text. No thank you, no pat on the back. Weiter. He always spoke about it. He lived with it. You got to go weiter. So Shvat Toshram Ches, we all have to think, L'chayit and Rebbe, are we able to be Yosef even more? L'chaim.
Wow.
When they speak about the Rebbetzin, there is those Yechidis Gula, those special individuals that had the merit to know her, go into her, visit, speak. I would say, as a majority of Chabad, and not a majority of 51%, I would say a majority, maybe 95%. Never saw the Rebbetzin. Didn't know her at all. She was in the house, the Rebbe. She did her errands. I remember once, the young bocher in New York. I was there for Yom the Pagra for an occasion. When I'm in Manhattan. And I meet this older lady. And she tells me, she calls the Rebbetzin by her name. You know that she used to come with her mother-in-law to me to learn English. The Rebbetzin Chaimushke, go to the Rebbetzin Chana to tutor, whatever, to learn the English language. Very interesting. She did her errand, she drove this, but she was away from the public eye, to the extent that she never went to shul. Never went to 770 to the shul. She used to go upstairs, but never to shul, never out of the public. Which, the reasons for it, people could think this, people could think that, who knows? But this is a woman that put her whole life aside for the Rebbe. Put her whole life aside. Nothing for herself. Nothing for herself. No concept of honor or anything like that. Totally away from that. Why I'm pointing this out, the Rebbe in the Sichos emphasizes a few times about the Rebbetzin Chayim Mushke that it has to be misnahagim berucha, to behave berucha in the spirit, in her spirit, in the way she behaved, in her spirit of behavior. So we could dwell on different things we heard in her name, but I think besides that, just the general way of she lived, there was no thing about her covet, about her image, nothing for that. She's the Rebbe's wife, she's the Rebbetzin. Teaches us such an important thing when it comes to Avodas Hashem. We know that already, but you see that's an example that our Avodah has to be in a way not to look in it for ourselves. What I'm going to gain, how is it going to help my image, how is it going to help my publicity? Just doing the truth, devoting ourselves to the way it's supposed to be and doing what you're supposed to be. This is a very, very important thing in Avodas Hashem. You know, there is Hatznei Alechas im Hashem Alikecha. The person, when you go with Hashem, the way you're supposed to do Avodas Hashem is in the way of modesty. Hatznei Alechas. There is an Ayim Yom who explains that every letter of the word Teshuvah is showing on a certain avenue of how you're supposed to do Teshuvah. The Tov, the Shin, the Vav. Hey, that's Snei Alechas im Alikecha. Teshuvah in the way of Hatznei Alechas, of modest, hidden. And he says there in Ayim Yom that they were Chassidim of the Alter Rebbe. They were very hidden. And if for some reason their mila, their level came out to the public, they had pain from it. They had sar, because it's Hatznei Alechas. There is a story in Atomim. Atomim is a journal. I call it, today we call it Sefer. Came out in Advosk, in Poland, from the Yeshiva Techet Mimim. And the Rebbe was very involved in printing it. And it has letters of the Rabbi, a Maimer, other different stuff. So there is a story about the Baal Shem Tov. We know that the Baal Shem Tov didn't want to reveal himself to the public. He didn't want to be revealed. His father was a tzaddik nister. He joined the group of hidden tzaddikim. He didn't want to reveal himself. So once, I think the Baal Shem that was before him, said to him an incident. The incident was like this. He taught to him, years ago in Shvat lived a Yid. And he did something very special in the day of his bar mitzvah. Very special. As a schar, as a merit for that, the Bezdin Shalmaila, the heavenly court, said that Eliyahu Hanavi himself should go to him and learn with him Torah. Eliyahu Hanavi came and he introduced himself. I'm Eliyahu Hanavi. I'm here to learn with you as a schar, as a reward for what you did in the day of your bar mitzvah. Please tell me, what is it that you did special the day of your bar mitzvah? So he said to Eliyahu Hanavi, whatever I did was for Hashem. I'm not saying it. So Hanavi said to him, if you're not going to tell me, I'm going to leave. I won't learn with you. He said, whatever I did was for Hashem. And Eliyahu Hanavi left. Came to Shomayim. It came this such a big, wow, look at this, his level. So they had said, we're going to give him a different kind of a reward. What's this reward? That his neshama is going to come down to this world and going to open up a new derech in Avedas Hashem, a new avenue, a new way in Avedas Hashem. And Rabbi Adam Baal Shem said to the Baal Shem Tov, and that's your neshama, Rabbi Yisrael Baal Shem Tov, you have to megala derech Chassidus. Where did it come from? From Atzneya Leches Imalikecha. Atzneya Leches. As Rebbe speak about the Rebbetzin, we saw about the Rebbe also. The Rebbe, till he was mekabel in the seas, in Yud Shvat, Shvat Tovshin Yud Aleph, till he was officially mekabel in the seas. The Rebbe is completely private, completely hidden, completely. That's Ne'alechas. That was the derech. So we're not on anywhere close to the level of such people, but as the Rebbe always emphasized, the Rebbe says in Tanya, that everyone should shemitz menu, something to take from it, every person. To this nakud, this point, that we have to be devoted to what the truth is, devoted to the Rebbe, devoted to carry out what we have to carry out, and devote ourselves with the emes, not looking for anything for ourselves, for our publicity, our covet, putting it aside, and with that we could really carry out what we need to. L'chaim. Shvat, Tovshin and Ches, there were numerous things that changed in the Rebbe's Hanhoge, the way the Rebbe conducted himself and did things. One of the things was, in Chav B'Shvat Tovshim and Ches, the Rebbe's minig was on a daily basis, he would daven with a minyan every day, Mincha and Ma'ariv. The Bocher, Mincha 3:15, and Ma'ariv, whenever the Seder of Ma'ariv was. In the winter, before supper, after at the end of the second Seder Nigla, in the summer, after Seder Chassidus, 30. Shachris, the Rebbe wouldn't daven with a minyan. He would daven privately. He would daven with a minyan Shachris, Shabbos, and Yom Tov, and going to in a second, Yomim Yuchodim in the year, special days, Erev Rosh Hashanah, Erev Yom Kippur, Purim, special days. Well, what was, Rebbe was mentioning, in the Yemei Kriya for Kriya HaTorah, only on Thursday, or Rosh Chodesh, the Seder was like this. 9:30, the minyan would start. Would come up to Kriya HaTorah about 10 o'clock. The Rebbe's place was set up with a chumash and a tilim. And every day, somehow someone else had a schus to put the chumash and the tilim. The Rebbe would come in without talis and tefillin. The Rebbe would come in with a gartel, regular, and there would be Kriyas HaTorah, maybe in Seyah. The Rebbe would listen to Kriyas HaTorah and Aliyah. By Ashri of Volutzien, the Rebbe said Tilim. He used to say 2 kapitlach Tilim, his kapitel and the Rebbe's kapitel. But the Rebbe finished saying the 2 kapitlach Tilim, the Chazan would finish Yagdal Torah V'Yadir and Kaddish, Yahalalu, and the Rebbe would go out. That was the Seder. The regular day, you didn't daven Shachris with the minyan. Started from Chav B'Shvat, Tovshim and Ches, the Rebbe started to daven with a minyan every day, Shachris Mechamer. Initially, everyone thought it's Doshin the Shnasa Avelus, when the Rebbe is davening Shachris for the Omid. Well, when the Shnasa Avelus will change, it will be over, he's going to go back to his old minyan. It wasn't like that. He continued to daven minyan Shachris. What this changed, it used to be Shachris was 9:30 every day, but starting from Chav B'Shvat Tovshim and Ches, Shachris started 10 o'clock every day. Who would be by the minyan? Bochum 770, and if anyone else in Heights, but mainly Bochum, I think. Can you imagine when is Seder Chassidus? Seder Chassidus is 7:30 to 9. That's Seder Chassidus. And you had 9 to 10, you had an hour to prepare yourself for davening after Seder Chassidus. This bonus, whatever you wanted to do, the whole arichus. Remember, it's very hard to adjust. I mean, I left New York.
Downstairs.
Downstairs. Downstairs. It's very hard for me to be adjust. I used to be a comment. I never davened before 10 o'clock. You learn and you're making yourself and everything, barichus and this. And then I left New York. What is this? I came to Chicago and the latest me at 9 o'clock. It's an adjustment. That was the said. But I want to bring up one certain Nakud. I remember, when I came back from Shlichus in Eretz Yisrael, this was Oder Tovshim and Ches. I was having in the house. I was a young Bochero, and you had to get your way in, because everyone wanted to daven with the Rebbe. I got myself in for a Shachris. Very quick. The davening was very quick. But I never felt a davening where I'm thinking so much about Hashem. Davening HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Uplifted. Heidel Hashem Kiru Vishmei. You're davening to Hashem. And throughout the years, davening with the Rebbe was not a long davening. Very geknacked, as he said. But you're davening to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You're davening to Hashem. And you're davening ka'avde kamimori. You know, by the Rebbe, by Farbrengens, they would sing and dance. And, you know, there was a lot of giluyim. The Rebbe davened. There was no tnuah, no movement, no nothing. Ka'avde kamimori. You're davening to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You're davening to Hashem. This inyan that a yid has to be with a bittul HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Remember, there's the Eibishter, V'hine Hashem nitzav alov, and you're bottled to Him. And it does not matter what other people think, how they think, and what's going to be, and how it's going to turn out. You have a cheshbon with the Eibishter. And this expresses itself in other nakudah. The world doesn't know that. And we live now in Chicago between Litvish and Misnagdim, and they don't know that. The Rebbe, his father-in-law was it. Whatever his father-in-law said, whatever his father-in-law did, this is it. He doesn't have to ask anyone, no approval, no nothing. The whole world could hold the opposite. The Rebbe, the Shvat. That was it. Any minute of the Rebbe, the Shvat, how he davened, whatever it was, this is it. The world doesn't know that. The world thinks a lot of things they have tinus on the Rebbe this, the Rebbe that. The Shver said, this is it. Bittul. I once heard such a story. This was before Shvat Tavshin Yud, B'chaim Chayuse from the Frierdiker Rebbe. And the Rebbe was sitting in Farbrengen. The Rebbe used to apparently drink a lot. Even after he was makabel in the seas, he used to drink. Then it switched, but he used to drink. I heard from someone the earlier years when the Rebbe had to Farbrengen, he didn't start speaking before he drank a whole cup. He drank. So that was after a lot of drinking. And someone was trying to make a spitzel, a laughter. He tells the Rebbe, your father is calling you. The Rebbe got up, straight, like nothing happened, like he's sober as anything. He's walking to his father. The guy saw what's happening. He runs quickly to the Rebbe. I'm just joking. The Rebbe collapsed. Shvat. You know, there's a video when the Frierdiker Rebbe is taking the citizenship, becoming an American citizen. The color video of that piece, 10 minutes maybe. You watch an interesting video, but you watch the Rebbe to the Frierdiker Rebbe. Never leaves his eyes off the Frierdiker Rebbe for a second. Watching every movement. Every time Frierdiker Rebbe is speaking, he's washing his lips. The Frierdiker Rebbe had a hard time understanding him. Bittul. You gotta be mamshech. You gotta do what we gotta do. I was watching a piece of video, I jumped it out for Chov B'Shvat. One of the things, the interesting thing, this is a woman, I don't know her name. She had the schus to have discussion with the Rebbetzin. And she says to the Rebbetzin, wow, it must be so hard for you. So many nights, the Rebbe is away from the house for Yechidus. And by the Rebbe, a night of Yechidus was a whole night. Must be so hard for you. And she said simply, that's what the Chassidim need. This is what Chassidim need. So Hashem should help. We should be able to take Hashemetz, a trace, epis, that kind of bittul, that kind of Übergegebenkeit, l'chaim. I'm going to share something. I heard two things. You put them together. One thing I heard like this. This everyone knows. The Ohel was designed by the Rebbe himself. The Rebbe designed the Ohel. Size, the walls. The Rebbe designed the Ohel. As a matter of fact, a few years ago, I was davening Ma'ariv in a shul. There was a shir daf hayemi going on, and they were learning about Tumas Ohel. Learning Rambam Tumas Ohel, and it became a whole discussion about Lubavitch. How you talking? They go to the Ohel, Kohanim, it's Tumas Ohel. And you know when the Zidikot Lubavitch is going, I'm quiet. After Ma'ariv, I go to the Reish HaMedabrim, I say, you know that the Ohel in Lubavitch doesn't have a cover. And you should know it's designed by the Rebbe, that Kohen was able to go. He goes, oh, look. But then, Gimel Tammuz, Tovshin and Dalet, they needed a spot. They came into the Ohel, and they realized that the way the Rebbe designed the Ohel, he left the room for another spot next to the Rebbe. If you look on the dimensions now of the Ohel, there's two, the way, that's one thing. Then I heard something else. Shvat, before the Kvura of the Rebbetzin, so the Chavre Kadisha came in, they sent someone with the blueprint of the Beis HaKvoros, showing where they're planning to bury Rebbetzin Chayim Mushke, next to Rebbetzin Stern Sor. Showed it to the Rebbe. So the Rebbe moved it over a little more to the right. If you'll see today, Rebbetzin, there's a little more space between the Rebbetzin, Chaim Mushke, Rebbetzin, and so. A little. They didn't understand. Today, you see that the Rebbetzin are buried, mamish. One. This is the kesher. There is a kesher atzmi between the Rebbe and the Rebbetzin, beyond our understanding. And the Rebbe shared it with us. The Rebbe shared it with us. We were able to see this kesher. He spoke about it. In other words, the Rebbe took the deepest things, the highest things, and he called bizbuz ha'etzris. He splurged it and shared it with everyone. He made it available to everyone. The highest things, the deepest things, it's available to everyone. I'll give you an example. Shlichus. Being a shlich of the Rebbe. Shluchish l'adam k'meisik. Being a shlich of the Rebbe didn't start with the Rebbe. There was always shluchim of the Rebbe. A shliach of one of the Rabbeim of Chabad had a special title. They were called Shadar. Shadar is the rat, or Shetevis, Shluchi de Rabbon. And they would spread chassidus, they would fundraise. Who would be a Shadar? You had to be a special baldargi, a special level, fit to be a messenger of the Nasi Adir, of the Rebbe. Because after all, you're a shliach. What's a shliach? Shluchin shel adam k'meisa. You're a shliach. You're like the mishaleach. Not everyone can be like a mishaleach. You have to be fitting. Then by the Finnike Rebbe came more, but also selected. Those few choshev people. The Rebbe came and took shlichus. He be the Rebbe shliach, and he made it for everyone. Everyone can be a shlich of the Rebbe. You can connect yourself, you're a shlich. So K'meisei mamish. With a whole ufta of shlichus. There's never such a thing. When the Rebbe started Meisei HaShlichus, people didn't want to go on shlichus. People did not want to go on shlichus. They didn't want to live the Rebbe. They're about to fight. They're about to fight to say, you go to this country, you go to that country. Now, people are fighting to go on shlichus. Things change. But the Rebbe made this concept of shluchi shel adam k'meisei, and he made it a nachlas haklal. The Rebbe took the deepest inyonim. The mevazvus the eitzros. The mevazvus the eitzros. This is the moshel and bosi l'gani. You have a king. A king has treasures. What he put together, what his parents put together, Zaydis put together. These treasures are not touched. They're not spent. They're not showed to anyone. They're treasures. However, if there is a war going on and there's a shortage of money, of funds, the king says, let me splurge it. He takes the treasures and you just take it. You use it for the milchama. We got to win the war. The Rebbe was bizbuz ha'etzros, the deepest things, no matter what. He splurged it and he gave it to everyone. I'll give you another example. I remember I was growing up as a kid. My father was a gesund and learned a lot of chassidus. I look on the shafa, look on the shelves. There's a few svarim of the Alter Rebbe, a few svarim of the Mittler Rebbe, a few Samach Tzedek. And then I start seeing, slowly, the shelves are filling up. Mamori Admar Azokin, 10 value, 50, 20, I don't know. Mamori Admar Ansoy, Samach Tzedek, Marash, Shmuel, Rebbe, Arshab, the Friedrich, everything is public. What's this? The Rebbe said, publish everything. Publicize it. All the answers. All the answers. And the Rebbe made a point when a new Sefer came out, when he spoke a Maimer, he would speak something of the new thing that was printed. It's a Naya Sefer, Chavivus. Splurged, printed, everyone to see. Everyone knows the famous discourse, Ayin Beis. Ayin Beis is a treasure. It's a treasure of Chassidus. It was concealed. People had a few copies here and there. The Rebbe came in the end of 1977, I think, Tosh Lamed Zayin, he's printing it. The whole thing. And then all the details that Lamed Ches, printing it. And then after Gimel Tammuz, was left in the Rebbe's room, there was left Rishimus, the Rebbe's notes, so many things, other things that they found. And the way I understand, those in charge of those holy things, you had to make a decision. Do we keep it closed? Do we keep it secretive? Or you publicize it, you print it? But going with the Rebbe's directive, the Rebbe's way, Bizbus Haitzris. You get the deepest, highest things, and you got to. So anything they find, anything, Bizbus. Bizbus, printed, published, pour it, megist to megist. The highest in Yonim, the deepest in Yonim. And the same thing is the keshed of the Rebbe and the Rebbetzin, which Bichlal, you look at the earlier generations, the Rebbe, the Rabbeim didn't speak about their wives. A lot, here and there, a little bit here and there, not much. Not to make it it's everyone's business. It's nachlas haklal. Everyone has a connection to it. The Rebbe took such deep inyanim, nachlas haklal, such a holy lady that her level was so concealed from people, and her whole life was to stay away from the public eye, and no one should know her, no one should see her. I can say myself, I never saw the Rebbetzin. But I want to add something. And there was chances I could have seen her. I could have seen her. You know that the Seder was, the Rebbe slept in Eiranhu on President Street. So if he was Farbrengen until late, that means he didn't eat, whatever. That was the Seder. Shabbos, if Farbrengen the whole Shabbos, he didn't eat. There was no eating, it's at home. Sleeping at home. Tovshim Mem Vov, the Rebbe's foot started to hurt. I remember we came in from Montreal for Siyum Rambam. I think it was Mem Vov. And the Siyum Rambam that year was on Shabbos. So we came in the morning to 770 in time to see the Rebbe coming to 770. So we're there. Someone says, go away. What is? The Rebbe's foot is hurting. They noticed at home, when he goes in and out of the house, he holds on to the banister. When he comes in out of 770, he doesn't hold on to the banister. People are seeing. So they hope if no one is there, the Rebbe will hold on to the banister. We all disappeared. That night, the Kabbalah Shabbos, the Rebbe came downstairs to shul. It was terrible. Every step, you saw the Rebbe's pain. It was terrible, terrible. Every step, the Rebbe to go through the shul, took it. That was the way back. The way there, they didn't know that. Took 5-10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. Every step. And the way back there, Wolf said they put tables on both sides. And then a lot of things changed in the Rebbe, in the way that the Rebbe used to go in and out from the front door in 770. Then they went from the side, the cars were able to go closer, different things. One of the things changed, they didn't want the Rebbe to have to go home. So like this Rebbe goes with the car, Shabbos, Yom Tov is going to walk all the way to President Street. So what did they do? In back of the library, they made construction, and they added a few rooms for a place for the Rebbe, the Rebbetzin to be for Shabbos and Yom Tov. That was kept very neat. As a matter of fact, in Tovshin and Beis, I think it's Tovshin and Beis, Rab Mordechai Eliyahu, they come for Yechidus. The Rebbe agreed to take him for Yechidus, the private audience with the Rebbe. Where should the private audience be? Be in the Rebbe's room The Rebbe's room was an all-purpose room. He led everything there. He slept there. He ate there. He answered the letters. It wasn't fit to have a room, an audience. Look at that. But where did they do the private audience? They did it in that apartment. In that one of those rooms. If you look on the pictures of that thing, you'll see it's a different look. It's interesting. I was speaking about when the Rebbe went to that room for that Yechidus, the Rebbe went through the library. You couldn't see how he went. But the way out, when the Yechidus finished, the Rebbe went out in the back of the library. He went out together with Mordechai Eliyahu, and they were walking together. And they looked like two old good friends together walking, speaking. Walking slow, all the way to the stairs, all the way to the street. And Mordechai Eliyahu went into the car. The car drove off. The Rebbe went off the sidewalk onto the street, watching till the car disappeared. So that behind the library, that was the place that the Rebbetzin came Shabbos and Yom Tov. So after every Shabbos and Yom Tov, there was a car waiting at a certain thing on Union Street to take the Rebbetzin home. And anyone that wanted could have stand there and see. I said, no, I'm not going. Because I know that the Rebbetzin didn't want to be seen by other people. She didn't want it. I didn't go. I didn't see that I could say. So she's in the way of the whole public eye. The Rebbe came Chav Shvat and said, you know what? Nachalas HaKlal. It's for everyone. Every part of it. Her name, her ruach, what she stood for. It's for everyone. It's for everyone. So we have to say l'chaim and be nis'erer and to elevate ourselves, to devote ourselves. L'chaim. Chaim. If Levim decide, you have to live with the Parshas Shavua. Parshas Shavua starts Ve'ela HaMishpotim Asher Tosim B'fnei. These are the Mishpotim, the laws that you, Moshe Rabbeinu, should put before the Jewish people. What are we speaking about? We're speaking about mishpat. We know that the mitzvahs of the Torah are divided to three categories: edus, hukim, and mishpat. What's the difference? Mishpatim are laws that are common sense, are logical, even though every mitzvah has laws that are not necessarily logical. But generally speaking, it's something that you use your seichel, your intellect. For example, there's a rule in monetary issues in Torah, which means two people have an argument. One has a claim, wants to take money from the other person. He says the other person owes me money, whatever it is. He has to bring a proof. He doesn't bring a proof, you can't help him. That's a very basic rule. So the Gemara learns it from a pasuk. Learns it from a pasuk. I think this week's parsha shows. Then the Gemara asks a question. You need a pasuk? Lama likra, svaru. You need a pasuk to teach it to you. It's common sense. It's logical. In other words, you're dealing with monetary issues. You use your mind. You use your brain. You use your seichel. That's mishpat. Baba Kama, Baba Mitzvah, Baba Basra. Then you have edus. Edus are such things that it's not something that the mind could reach, but once we're told, do this to remember this, do this to remember this, you make sense of it. For example, keep Shabbos because Hashem rested the seventh day. Keep Pesach because Hashem took you out of Mitzrayim, etc. That's edus. Then there's chukim. Chukim means it's a law that Hashem said, and we don't know the reason. Chukah chokakti, gzeira gozarti, Hashem made a decree. The pasuk starts off, ve'ela hamishpatim. What are we dealing about? Mishpatim. Mishpatim. These laws, monetary laws, are common sense. Now, the parsha starts not Eila HaMishpatim, it's Ve'ela HaMishpatim. And these are the Mishpatim. What does it mean, and these are the Mishpatim? Says Rashi, Ma Arishonim is Sinai. Just like what we learned in Parshas Yisro, the 10 Commandments were from Sinai. Av Elum is Sinai. These Mishpatim came from Sinai. There's a special emphasis here that the Mishpatim came from Sinai. Seemingly, what's the message? The Rebbe explains like this. Even when you're dealing with mishpatim, even if you're dealing the parts of the Torah that are common sense and logic and you're supposed to use your mind, you have to remember the base, Sinai. The base is that's what Moshe Rabbeinu got from Sinai. The base it's from HaKadosh Baruch. Even though you're using your seichel. But the only way you could really figure out what you have to figure out is if you realize it's coming from Sinai. The whole Torah, including the Mishpatim, is coming from Sinai. You see, we speak about the Rebbe, the Rebbetzin, brilliance, in the simple sense. Even without speaking the holiness and the level and the Ruach HaKodesh and the Nesias, the brilliance is out of the world. In every type of wisdom, in every type of chokhmah, there's so many languages. I mean, the memory. I mean, it's unbelievable. But the base is the Emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Emunah in the Rebbe. That's the base. Not Seichel. Seichel is not the base. The base is, you're a Yid. Ate bechartonim mikol ha'amim. You have a Shaykhs to the Eibishter. That's the Yisod. Which is it's an amazing thing, you know. It's very hard. I once heard such a verse. I heard someone saying over a sikh. Here's from the Rebbe. When the Yidden were makdim Naisel and Ishma, they got 2 crowns. One for Nasa, one for Nishma. Why did they get a crown for the Nishma? They got a crown. Nasa should come before Nishma, which means they didn't learn yet, they didn't hear yet. They're doing it. They got a crown for the Nishma. Because when they're putting the Nasa before the Nishma is also with a bittul. The Nishma is also under what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants. And since we were shared these things, that means we have to also strengthen our emunah, strengthen our bitochen. I mentioned before, the Rebbe took such a painful thing for him and made it a step to increase by other people, to go weiter, to go hecher, l'chaim, l'chaim. Chaim. The Shir Tanya of Shvat, the Rebbe says like this: what should a person do if he is worries from Mili Dishmaya? He has worries, he did sins, he did Averas, he did not proper things, he's worried about it. What should he do? In other words, the general Perek is speaking about that a Yid has to be besimcha. A Yid has to be happy and joyful without any trace of sadness and depression, upsetness. A person has to be besimcha, and that's the only way you could properly do Avodas Hashem. And Rebbe gives an example. Two people are wrestling, and one person could be very, very strong. A and B are wrestling, and A is stronger than B. But A is heavy and upset and depressed, and B is like this. B is going to win over A. A is stronger, but he's missing this rizus. You have to be besimcha. So the Rebbe says in today's Shir Tanya, what can do if he has worries with Mili Dishmaya? He did Averas. Averas Achamurim. Averas Achamurim is Averas that there is Kodesh Rachman al-Islam. Penalty of Kodesh. What should he do? He's worried, upset. Zog the Alter Rebbe and get rid of it. Don't worry about it. And Alter Rebbe divides it. There's when you're learning and davening, and then there is when you're doing business or other things in the world. Well, Rebbe says like this: when you're learning and davening, of course you got to get rid of it. Because when you're learning and davening, you have to do it with simcha. If you're going to be upset about the Avedas, then you can't learn davening with simcha. Then the Rebbe says, even if it's happening when you're in the world, get rid of it. Don't have these worries now. Why? It's a trick of the Yetzer Hara. What do you mean trick of the Yetzer Hara? I'm worried that I did a terrible Aveda and I have to do Shuvah. Why are you telling us trick of the Yetzer Hara? The Rebbe said like this. You know what he's trying to do? He's trying to make you upset about yourself. He's trying to make you sad. He's trying to make you give up on yourself. And then you're in his trap, and he'll make you do, who knows what he wants you to do. He'll make you do temptations to make yourself happy. Because the nature of a person is look for happiness. He's upset and sad, he'll get a person to do temptations which are not appropriate. It's a trick of the Yetzer Hara to put you in his trap. Push it away. I proved out that Rebbe says that it's coming from the Yetzer Hara. You know what the proof is? How all of a sudden did you get upset about it? What made you all of a sudden get upset about it? Were you thinking about the Eibishter? It's coming from the Yetzer Hara. Push it away. Don't let yourself get pulled down. Which is a tremendous thing. You know, it says in Ayim Yom that the Yetzer Hara, the Mishabahamis, has different suits. Sometimes it wears a collar suit. Sometimes it wears a surtuk. Sometimes it wears a streimel, a spodik, a zupitz. The Yetzer Hara. The Nekuda is that when a person feels he's getting trapped in atzvos, this is a pshat to become Yetzer Hara. A yid has to be b'simcha Rabbi. A yid has to be b'simcha. No matter what it is, you have to be b'simcha. Because depression and upsetness and sadness holds us back from doing what we need to do. Remember, this was something I heard numerous times by Farbrengen by the Rebbe. The story is Rab Nochem Shenobeler. Nochem Shenobeler was one of, I think, students of the Baal Shem Tov. Let me say, or about Maggid. I think even the Baal Shem Tov. Maggid? Baal Shem Tov. Nochem Maggid. So he was, Rab Nochem Shenobeler was a very holy Jew. He had Chassidim, he had disciples. Once a chassid had to marry off his daughter, and he had no money. So he goes into Rabbi Nochem Shenobeler, he needs money to marrying off his daughter. Rabbi Nochem Shenobeler says, I wish I could help you, I don't have anything right now. Then, the rich chassid came into Rabbi Nochem Shenobeler, and chassidim give a pan to the Rebbe. What's a pan? Pan is pidyon nefesh. Pan means to redeem your soul. How do you redeem your soul? You give the Rebbe money. That's how you redeem. That's a pan. Pan is the money. One of the main parts of the pan is the money you give to the Rebbe.
I know.
So this rich person brings a pan to Rabbi Nochem Shenobeler and brings money, a nice large amount of money. Rabbi Nochem Shenobeler sees the money. It's exactly the amount of money that chassid needed to marry off his daughter. Goes in his mind, let me take the money and give it to this chassid. Then a thought comes to his mind, so much money to one person, so many people need money, let me divide it. Then he had a whole dilemma. What do I do? Do I give it to him or not? Then he said, I have to figure out which thought is coming from my Yetzer Tov and which thought is coming from Yetzer Hara. My second thought was coming to hold me back from doing something. I wanted to do something good. I wanted to help this person marrying off his daughter. This second thought was coming to hold me back. You know what it indicates? My second thought was from the Yetzer Hara. He took the whole money and gave it. And the Rebbe would say this very often, not all the time, all the details. He used to say the story of Nochem Shenobeler. If something is holding you back, ma'aser b'peil, doing it you got to do, you know it's matzas hayetzer. It doesn't make a difference what suit it's wearing. He's worried about his aveda, he's worried about this, worried about that. is holding you up from Ma'aseh B'Peh. The ikir is, the main thing is the action, the increase in learning and davening, doing mitzvahs and Avos Yisrael and mitzvahs. That is the main thing. Ma'aseh B'Peh. The Rebbe took Chav Shvat and made it a step, increase, to make it deeper, is Eirus, a higher is Eirus, to increase the Ma'aseh B'Peh. You know, once they had everything, videos, and I was watching a video of the Rebbe. Someone goes by dollars. It was right after Pesach. And he was somewhere for Achen Shal Pesach. And I watched the video, it's not clear to me where he was, but he's all excited about it. The Rebbe says, what did you take? Wherever you were, what? So the guy goes like this, his hands, okay. What? Tell me one thing. He couldn't. The Rebbe said, next time, take something. Something you'll bring. Nice of a pale now. That's the thing. There has to be the Hiserus, and the Hiserus has to come to Nice of a pale. That was interesting. Farbrengen of the Rebbe. The Farbrengen of the Rebbe really included everything. Farbrengen of the Rebbe included Nigla, included Chassidus, included singing, included crying, screaming, everything. All in one Farbrengen. Even after the Farbrengen, they could be in a different world. They covered everything. But always by the end of the Farbrengen, Ma'aseh B'Peh. Some kind of lesson, what we got to do, directive, a hero, a Ma'aseh B'Peh. Ma'aseh B'Peh. Birthday, you have to make a holy Seirus, Farbrengen. You have to increase something. I'll tell you something. When you build the building, you build brick by brick. You build brick by brick. Every time you take a little achlotze, a little tiny achlotze, but you take something that you know that you could do it and you do it. After time, you have a building. You wonder yourself, how did I get to there? Every time, something little. Because the Mishnah says, to faster, meruba, later faster. You try to grab a lot at once, it doesn't work. Little at a time. No, living in the community, literature doing a lot of kiruv. Everyone's doing kiruv today. They're amazed in Lubavitch how we're flexible to people. And they're letting people grow in their pattern. You know, I once heard from, this is a Chassidish man, Chassidish Mishpoche, tells me a story like this. There's once by a bris, Litvish bris, and they started attacking the Chabad houses. They have let people come on Shabbos even though they're driving. And they're... Then this guy gets up and said, I'm a product of that. Chassidish person, Chassidish mishpacha, you know, I'm a product. People grow step by step. That's how it is. You have to know there's a whole Torah, but you grow little by little. We always have to increase. We always have to take steps. It's just like when a person loses the path, goes off. You go a little bit off, there's the wrong direction, who knows where you're going to end up? The same thing is, and much more, the right direction. Epis Yosef, more epis. That's how we grow. We're not grace, you know, there's a lot of grace mentioned it, but not everyone's grace, you know, grace dark is great. Add something, add a little bit, learning, davening. To make I soften something. I once heard there was a bocher, but every Farbrengen the Rebbe said to make a soften in learning, he made a soften. He made so many sofas that there was no time to add in the day. His day was full. The Rebbe said, make a soften. He asked the Rebbe, what should you do? The Rebbe said, okay, you can't do it in kamut, you can't do it in quantity. Do it in eichus, do it in quality, do it the way you learn. There's always something you could be Mesif. L'chaim, l'chaim. Chaim. I once heard a story from the Rebbetzin. I heard this from a friend of mine. His name was Rabbi Levi Olav Shalom. He heard this from Mr. Raskin, the owner of the fruit and vegetable store in Crown Heights. He had a story like this. Before Pesach, the Rebbetzin made an order for produce, for fruit and vegetables for Pesach. Part of the order was carrots. He was sending to the Rebbetzin, sending the best, sending carrots. The Rebbetzin, yes, the bag of carrots, filthy carrots, dirty, muddy carrots. Wondering. Now, why did Mr. Raskin send this filthy bag of carrots? Because the Machmirim, the ones that are very stringent on Pesach, they want to get those fruits and vegetables that weren't really touched. They're just from the ground, the way they don't. So the muddier they are with the dirt, it's less touched. So he wanted to give the Rebbetzin the best. See, he sent, the Rebbetzin calls him up. So, what did you send me, dirty carrots? He said, I wanted to send you the best for Pesach. He says, I don't know. Me, you could send clean carrots. That's the story. I don't know, to implement what the hero. A lot of times we gravitate to all kinds of chumras and stringencies and things that maybe sometimes don't have basis for it. It's just a way of getting out of reality. Just hanging on to things makes us feel better, makes us feel more religious. It's not real. It's not grounded. I think we could take a lesson of the story. You got to be in the world, in reality. You have to be grounded. To know who you are. You have to be a mensch. You have to be Eved Hashem. In other words, Avedas Hashem doesn't mean you don't know the reality of things. You don't have a house and you're taking care of yourself. There is this. I don't think it's the way of Chabad, that you ignore yourself. You get closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu by ignoring yourself, and leaving yourself alone, not taking care of yourself, and that's how you get higher. And that's not the Derech of Chabad. The Derech of Chabad is you're in the world. The reality, Ish, Ben Hanoshim, man amongst people, and you're working with the world to make the world a better place. You gotta know, you be down. How you call it in English, down to earth. Reality, you have to know your surrounding, you have to know your family. A person ignores himself, ignores his family, ignores his surrounding. What happens? Nothing. You gotta pick yourself up with who you are. You have to know who you are. You have to know who your family is. You have to know your community is, your surrounding, the world around you, and work with it. Elevate it. Not distance yourself from it. The word of the Baal Shem Tov, Kisire Chameir Sinacha. You'll see a donkey of your enemy, Roivet Stachas Masoy. And this donkey couldn't hold the package. The donkey fell. Don't leave it alone. Help it get up. Take off the package, take off the load, and help the donkey get up. So the Baal Shem Tov Tai says like this. Chamoir is the chomer. Chamoir means the chumrius of your goof. The person looks in the chumrius of his goof, and what does he see? Say nachem. He hates you. He doesn't want you to get more spiritual. He doesn't want you to increase in Torah mitzvahs. He wants to pull you down. He wants to have enough melam hazeh. He wants enough of the world, which is the milchama the Alter Rebbe speaks in Tanya. The natural kid wants to go higher, and the Shemaz wants to go lower, wants to go more in the world. You could think, what's the eitzah? Stop helping the goof. Break the goof. Crush the goof. Through fasting or other kind of affliction. The Baal Shem Tov name. Oziv, Taziv, Imoy. You got to work. You have to serve Hashem together with the goof. You have to serve the goof with the goof Hagashmi. Not to ignore the goof. With the goof. As the Mr. Shemagid said, a klein lecheli in goof is a great lochen in the neshama. The small hole in the body is the big hole in the neshama. You have to serve Hashem together with the goof. Oziv, Taziv, Imoy. And the same thing is regarding who's the person? Who are you? What do you stand for? What are your milas? What are your qualities? And work with it, not ignore it. Like it says in Ayim Yayim, just like a person has to know his chesronos, he has to know what he's lacking, he has to know his milas. He has to know what makes him special. I always wondered. We say that a person has 10 koiches, 10 strengths, parallel to the Yesher spheres. Every yid, every neshama, every nefesh has 10. What's the last one? Malchus. What's Malchus? Kingdom. I always wondered, a regular, ordinary person, what does he have Malchus? Malchus, what's Malchus? Malchus is kingdom. The Rebbe is a king. David HaMelech was a king. Regular people were the kings. So you have Malki Rabbanon, you have people that are leaders, but regular people, what's their kingdom? What's Malchus? You see this is the famous Hemshech, Samach the Samach, Dovrish and Zion, the Rebbe Rashab. He says like this. True, by an Neshama Klolis, Malchus means kingdom, real kingdom. For a regular person, kingdom, Malchus means a person needs to know with what is he higher. What makes him a nus? What makes him unique? That's what he says in the Maimer. What makes him special? With was bist du hecher? With what are you higher? That's what he says in the Maimer. In other words, everyone has their milas. Everyone has their milas. Like the Alter Rebbe says in Yigeres HaKedesh in Tanya, he says, Yatziv milse, v'takim pisgome, ki kol echad mesuka mechaver. Everyone has different milas. Ain't the same Shabbos. Every human being is different. And everyone different milas. You have to know who you are. You have to know your milas. You have to know your chesreinas. You have to know your character. And you have to serve Hashem with it. Not to crush it, not to break it. Who you are, and find a way to serve Hashem with who they are. Not the pshat, you want to be Eved Hashem, you run away from yourself. You can't run away from yourself, because as fast as you're running with yourself. You can't run away from yourself. You have to find a way to serve Hashem with yourself, who you are. Who you are, that's how you drive with Hashem, with you. Hashem created a person in a certain way because he wants you to be Eved Hashem in your way, in your unique way, who you are as a person. So it could be, I'm sure that Rebbetzin knew that there's Machmirim that want dirty cars for Pesach. She knew. But there's a message here. This is not my way. Mir kannst du schicken, reinen werden. Ich sage mir, I remember coming, the Rebbe was Hashnas HaAvelos. We went into the house. It was the first one house. And you used to go through the kitchen, whatever you went through, whatever the Rebbe gave you $, and there's a sikha, and you go here and you go there. You ended up going through all the house. And you see how the Rebbetzin kept the house. Modest, but Suda, neat, nice. Yeah, it's a house. It's a house. The house of the Rebbe. It's a house. And that's how you make a keli. You make a keli with yourself. You have, I think, the young generation, you have young people, they think they can't really embrace Yiddishkeit. Because if they embrace Yiddishkeit, they have to leave themselves. They can't be who they are. They can't really be who they are. They want to be who they are. They chas v'shol. We have to find a way to teach them with who you are, as who you are. You could be an Eved Hashem. In your way. That you could figure out a way to be Eved Hashem. It's not one size fits all. You know, there are a lot of groups of Hasidim. In every group of Hasidim, if you look, everyone looks the same. The same size streimel, the same long thing, even the same shoes. I think so. They're the same. You look at Lubavitch, you can look around the table here. Not everyone is wearing the same kind of a hat. Not everyone wears the same kind of a clothing. This guy's like this, and this shirt is like this, and this guy like that, and that's Lubavitch. It's not one size fits all. It's serving the Eibishter the way you are as a person, as an individual, and you bring out the best. We always wondered. You looked around the Rebbe all the years. The Rebbe was able to bring out the best in the people around him. You had certain people that had tremendous heads, out of the world. And the Rebbe took this group of people. You're going to prepare the sikhs. You're going to prepare the mamorim. You're going to make the sefer erchim. And they use their heads hours upon hours a day or upon a week to prepare the sikhs and mamorim. You look what they prepared for the Rebbe's Hagoy. Unbelievable. You had those people that were organizers. The Rebbe made them organize things. They had hearts. Go out on shlichus. He brought out the best in every person. You do this, you do that for you. And when people didn't want to go on shlichus, the Rebbe says, this is for your table. This is going to bring out the best. L'chaim, l'chaim. Ya Ram. Ya Yamana. Chaim. It says in Boskel Lagan, from Avram Avinu to Moshe Rabbeinu, there were 7 generations. And each one was mamshich the Shechina one step down. Avram from the 7th sky to the 6th sky, Yitzchak from the 6th sky to the 5th sky. Ad shebo Moshe shuhu ashvi, chol ashvi and chavivi, the riddle matavod. He brought it down. Zog the Rebbe that this step of the Shvi is a whole different thing. Sky to sky, heaven to heaven, this is all heaven. Heaven, that heaven, that heaven. Moshe Rabbeinu brought it down, Lamata Ba'ores, Vayered Avayel Arsina, and built the Mishkan. The Shechina came to earth. The Rabbeim, the Rebbetzin, and the Siein, and the Sii Chabad, the 7, the Alter Rebbe to the Rebbe. They were married, the Shechina, the Gili Pnimius Atir. You look, you read the Chassidim of the Alter Rebbe, unestimable. The level was shaykh. The Rebbe had the Chadorim, the Mittler Rebbe is Chassidim. Again, the Mittler Rebbe, we said Chassidus, I think he said, I don't remember now how many hours. He said and said and said. You read the Shvat in the Bittul Rebbe. You don't know what it hits you. You don't know where you started. Where you. I mean, it's like a sea. And the Chassidim held with. And it went with Dale and Dale. Said the Marash, the Rashab, Tichet Mime, Samarvov, Ein Bez. Imagine how the Zal and Lubavitch looked, how they prepared for Daven. You ever tried those to think? You had the Bocher out of the world, doing a skafia to the fullest degree. Like it says in the Kontresim of the Rebbe Rashab, they're learning this Chassidus, in this little town Lubavitch. Friedrich Rebbe. He came there Ashvi. Vehirido lemata ba'oretz. And you have to bring Pnimius Ateri, you have to bring the Shechina mamish in tachtin. That's the step for Mashiach. And you bring the Shechina b'tachtin, mamish in tachtin. There's no more inside. Get into the world. Be malvish yourself into the world. As is lekarta, after this kinemusi, you go to a place, go to the place. I remember my Farbrengen. I remember an Aleph and the base. I got very mixed up. The Farbrengen never speaking like this. There was a war going on between Russia and France. And there was a big shaila between the Gedali Yisrael, the giants of Jews in that time. For whom is it better to win for Am Yisrael? There were those that held Russia pushes down Jews. Russia pushes down Jews. We need France to win. And they were davening France should win. And Alter Rebbe said, France, prikasel. Prikasel Malchus Shamayim. Russia should win. Russia should win. Alter Rebbe said it's nothing. It ratted Alter Rebbe's install because Alter Rebbe was running away from that pool. The whole story. Russia has to win. France, prikasel Malchus Shamayim. The Rebbe says there's a group of French people that are bringing. What's now in Brunwa? You have yeshivas tegen Tmimim. Like in Lubavitch in Russia. There's no more French precursor. French, make tegen Tmimim. Bring the Shechina there. Bring the Shechina in the world. That's their Ashvi. But that's our Shlichus. We have to bring the Shechina Lamata. We have to bring Sidus with Achtein. And we're at a point now that the world is thirsty for Pnimis Hatei. The world is thirsty for Chassidus. Yes, they're not saying Yichiyat, and they're not becoming Lubavitch Chassidim yet, true, but they're thirsty for Teres Chassidus. The concepts of Chassidus. And we have that Aved, a Rabbi bringing it well, bring it to the world, in their level, in their ACS. This is the Shlichus of Deir Ashvi. This is the Aved of Deir Ashvi. Oh, Zeineveld. There is, it says in Shmuz Sipurim, there's this question, one of the Rabbeim, about who Mashiach is going to be. I don't remember the details, but the punchline over there is that Mashiach wird sein an Ohel Misher. An Ohel Misher is usually used for a Litvak. Ohel Misher, not a Chassidisher. Ohel Misher. The Taich is, Ohel means the world. Mashiach wird sein an Ohel Misher. Ohel. Someone's going to bring Chassidus to the world. You bring Pnimis Hateret to Mata Ba'ot. And this is a Aved. So we can't ignore the reality. It's verkehrt. See the reality and find a way to apply what's L'chaim. Free, I'm saying a russische Meister. Er sagt, Christi Ashikeh, man sagt es sein, es ist Shvat. Meister, I say it over many, many times. Maybe you heard it from me, but I live a lot with the story lately. I want to say the story. I heard the story of my uncle, Naftali Stuhl, and sein gesund und stark, who lives in Los Angeles. When he was brought down to Los Angeles, they heard there's going to be a lot of Russian Jews coming to Los Angeles, California. So they brought him, who was a Russian, to be the thing. Was when he came to Los Angeles, the Russians didn't come yet. They came like a year later, they started to come. So he's not a person that sits and does nothing. See, right away, at the Mitzvah, It's a person full of chayas. And then one of the things he would do, invite people to his house Friday night. One of the people he invited to his house Friday night was a Mizrahi Bocher. His name was Shmuel Breitkov. What was his name? He's coming in his house. He got closer. So Naftali, a student, tells him, you have to come to the Rebbe. Yechidus. He has to come. And birthday is coming up. Those years, whenever you had a birthday, you used to go for Yechidus to the Rebbe. I'm going to New York for Yechidus. I'm buying you a ticket. You're also going to come for Yechidus. So he called up Rebbe Groner, Maskiris, this night, reserving 2 spots for Yechidus. One for me, for my birthday, and one for this Bacher Shmuel Breitkov. Decided. Comes the day, they travel to New York. Says, let me check into the Maskiris. Comes Maskiris. Rebbe Groner tells him, there's no audience for your friend Shmuel Breitkov. There's nothing on the list for him. He says, what are you saying? They were brother-in-law. They were my uncles. So what are you saying? I called you. I bought him a ticket. What do you mean there's no spot for him? So they were going to tell him, you're such a tzaddik. Give him your spot. Naftali said, fine. He has my spot. Shmuel Breitkov went in for Yechidus. It was very interesting Yechidus. He was then studying about the building of the Beis HaMikdash. And the Rebbe was very interested in what he was doing. I was learning. We became very close. He married one of my aunts. He lives in Eretz Yisrael, Chassidus Mishpach. Let's go back to Naftali. Naftali is in New York. He's not going Yechidus. What should he do? He decided, let me go with my Russian friends. Farbrengen. I'm here. I'm not going to sleep. I don't live here. So he got his Russian friends. They sat and said, L'chai, Farbrengen the whole night. Comes 6 in the morning. Naftali says, okay, we're going to go to sleep for a little bit. Let me go by 770. Those, you always knew, you're up, Farbrengen, you go by 770. Comes 770, about 6 in the morning. As soon as he comes in, Rebbe Groner grabs him by his arm. They're just waiting for you. You have to go in. So what do you mean? You told me I'm not going Yechidus. And he said, I can't go to the Rebbe. The Rebbe's waiting for you. You're on the list, the Rebbe wants you to go. Totally Pasha trembling. He has no choice. He just walks into the room. The door was open. It was the end of the Yechidus. They was looking through papers. He just stepped into the room, stood by the door. Rebbe noticed him. He said to him like this: Du bist doch a Shliach. You're a Shliach. Wirst du das tun mit a Chayes und a Chassidischer Brenn. You do it with a liveliness and with Chassidic burn. That was it. You're going to do it with a Chayes, and that's what he does. Ad Hayem Hazeh Hashem Shegivin for Shleim She'el Tebim Mamshich. Amen. Amen. What do I live with this story? You're doing what you need to do. It's not enough. You have to do with the Chayes, and you have to do with the Chassidische Brenn. Warmkeit. V'hachai yitzin elibe. You be chai. With a Chayes. And this will help ourselves. It won't be boring. And it will help us doing an Avedas HaChinuch and educating our children and as Talmidim. And people want life. People are looking for life. What do people want? They want life. What's the thing? The Klippe is showing the world Kedusha is boring. We have life. The Klippe is like, Klippe is real life. We have life. We're going to make you enjoy yourself. We have to show, no, you can have a Chayes in Ruchnius, you have a Chayes in Tere Mitzvahs, you have a Chayes in Chassidishkeit. This is Chayes. This is Chayes. This is life. It's in anything. In Torah, in Nigla, in Chassidus, in anything. Chayes. You come to think that the Rebbe, there's always chayes. Always chayes. Then we came into daven. The years I was there, every Cohen comes to daven. It's not just coming to daven. You finish davening, sing. Alles was chayes. Constantly chayes. You know, the years I was there, the Rebbe always davened on the bima. Davening had a bima, special bima in the corner. The Rebbe davened. The Rebbe came up to the bima, and before he went to his place, he turned around and made with his hand. Besides once a week. Sunday after dollars, he came to daven Mincha Ma'ariv. His hand looks like very exhausted. He didn't turn around to make his hand. It's the only time in the week. Every time. It's chayes. And the Rebbe was mechanech ad der. And this der, the Rebbe gave him a chayes. Thousands of shluchim. The Rebbe gave him a chayes. And we have the achrayas to give it over. Be chay lahachiyas. We have to be living ourselves. It's mechay other people. The chassidishkeit has to be with achayas. Lebedigkeit. This is l'chaim.
Shuva, Shuva, Shevan
Oseveinu chem alavodecho Saveinu v'avoiker chazdecho Koyomeinu Shuva, Shuva, Oseveinu chem alavodecho Saveinu v'avoiker chazdecho
Das ist die Ball von Mikrofon. Was ist das Biff? Ja, wir fangen an zu sehen. Let's say one more story. Guys, my uncle Naftali. He came to Eretz Yisrael from Russia. The first thing he wanted to come to the Rebbe. Whole story for itself, how he came. A whole group of Russian Bocherim came for Tisha to the Rebbe.
When's the last time you seen it?
There was an interesting thing of the Rebbe. They came to New York, they came for Yechidus. And after Tishrei, the Rebbe said that group of Bocherim should come in again for Yechidus. They went twice for Yechidus. Amongst this group, he had a friend that was a Chassidische Bocher, the Tachlis, from Russia. Real Chassidische Bocher. Learned Chassidus a lot and davened a lot. The M is Chassidische Bocher. He went in for Yechidus, he came out, he couldn't stop crying a whole Tishrei. What is? He went into the Rebbe, he didn't feel anything. He's so many years, the Rebbe, he came in, doesn't feel anything. No connection, no ruchna, nothing. He was poshet, not a person. After Tishrei, he had another chance. He goes into Yechidus. This person had lost his father. He looks, it says the Rebbe, I want to speak to you like a kid to his father. And then, like, the whole world opened up, a connection. He came out from that Yechidus, he was a different person. It's like a barrier that broke. Oh, it's special. What am I trying to bring out? We have to make a connection with the Rebbe. The Rebbe is connected with us. We have to make a connection with the Rebbe. And sometimes, we're not big dal bali dargya. We make a connection like a kid to a father. Ovinu Otto. I'm your kid. Connected. It's different. You know, a lot of times you think you're going through a level, I'm at this level, that level. Doesn't always work. Yeah, and Chov b'Shvat, the Rebbetzin, it's like a personal thing. The Rebbetzin didn't say Mamorim, right? It's personal. You have to make this connection. And mitzad the Rebbe, the connection is there. We have to make the connection. In other words, it's a tremendous hell of a hester in the Rebbe. It's hell of a hester. The Gashmis, the hell of a hester. But mitzad the Rebbe, nothing changed. Mitzad the Rebbe, nothing changed. The Rebbe is the Rebbe. Mitzad the Rebbe, nothing changed. And since mitzad the Rebbe, nothing changed, we can make that connection. Make the connection. You learn the Rebbe's Torah, do the Rebbe's heroes. From time to time you go to the Ohel, you give a pan. I'll tell you a story. I knew this person, not Baba Shechosed. Went to the Ohel. And he didn't feel anything. He didn't feel. It's not a chassid. I didn't go in properly. The next day, he got up early and he learned something, went to the mikveh and davened better. He went again into the Ohel. He said, oh, now he came and opened up a whole different thing. Make the connection. I remember, once by the Ohel, standing next to a Motel Ashkenazi, the Rebbe Kfar Chabad. He loved the Rebbe. He loved the Rebbe. Before he left, he bent down, he kissed the cement. I'm doing it. He kissed the cement. That is expressing the love. It was a big row. He kissed the cement. You have to bring it to connection. Bring out the connection, and then It's a whole different thing. Who are you? I'm the Rebbe's chassid. I'm me. Who am I? What's my level? I'm the Rebbe's chassid. And then, just like by the Rebbe, it was a koyach that the world didn't matter to him in the sense that he should change what he's doing, what he's saying, because the world doesn't like it. It was like such a strength. It was such a strength. It was not bendable. Koyach adr. There was, I was watching a video. This is Yud Aleph Nissen. I think Shnas Hashiv, Rebbetzin 7. I think that's true. Watching a video. Or Shnas Hashemen, I don't remember. A video. Kids, a video. The Rebbe's people are the ones going with Tzoyim. And there are people teasing them and making hard times for them. The Rebbe called it Gießen kalte Wasser. They're pouring cold water. The Rebbe said, when you're going on the tank, I'm going with you. For me, it doesn't make a difference. And the Rebbe added, I'm not going to say it's pleasant for me, it's not pleasant. But regarding to actuality, it doesn't affect me. I'm with you. If with the Rebbe's with you, whole different thing. You know, again, it's not dargit, it's not a level. I can't sometimes. It's called Shvat. It's a time to strengthen our connection. Wir sind doch the Rebbe's Kinder. The Rebbe's kids. The Rebbe's kids. You know, the Rebbe used to go before Yom Kippur. After Mincha, he gave a bracha to the whole Klal Yisrael, Erev Yom Kippur. But before Kol Nidre, and the Rebbe with the talis and the kittel, the way to Kol Nidre, the Rebbe comes out to the Bocher and the Tmimim. The Rebbe's Kinder. A whole different thing. I remember, this is the last time I was with the Rebbe, Ponim Oponim. This was Leil Yom Kippur, Tovshin und Dalet. We're getting ready for Kol Nidre. We're getting for the Rebbe to come out to the porch. Meantime, Rabbi Krinsky, the Rebbe was on the way to Kol Nidre. Rabbi Krinsky asked the Rebbe like this. Because the Rebbe has the meaning to give every year a bracha. It's Mimim. The Bochrim, it's the Rebbe, one the Bochrim should go by the Rebbe. The Rebbe nodded his head. The Rebbe was this kittel, the door of his room, and we went by the Rebbe. It was like looking, such a closeness. It was like looking, looking in your eyes. There was Tafshin and Dalet, but it's Kinder. It's a different connection. And we can make that connection. It's you and the Rebbe. You know, any avenues. Yeah, I had a great uncle. His name was Yudah Chitrik. He passed away, I think, over 100. He learned the Lubavitch from Russia. I tell him, were you ever in Yechidus by the Rebbe Rashab? You were a few years in Lubavitch. He says, no. He says, you never Yechidus Rebbe Rashab? I said, how could it be? You learned to Lubavitch. He says, look, the way I went to Lubavitch is like this. You work with your mashpia. The mashpia saw that you're finished with him. Then you went to the Rebbe. You never got there. Never. It's a whole different thing. The Rebbe, as I'm speaking with him, I found out something else. Did you daven with the Rebbe? Lubavitch is daven with the Rebbe Rashab. The Rebbe Rashab needed a minion. It was a minion. It was a whole different thing. At the Rebbe, different connection. It's a kind zum Tat. It wasn't through your mashpir. And this is today, Tov Shin Pei, that everyone can make a connection. if we want to. Ein adover tolui ela berotz. If we want to, we make the connection. It's the one. We want the connection. If we want the connection, we make the connection. With chinuch of kids, if they find a way, they should want it. That's what it depends on. If they want, they'll fly on their own. They'll make the connection. Find a way to kindle, make the roots. L'chaim, l'chaim. After Gimel Tammuz, a lot that people Farbrengen, Ohel, this. The kav, the mahalach was I remember when I was there and this happened then. I remember I was there and it happened then. And then I'm speaking more and more people. If it's all about what I remember, what I saw, and I was there and I had this chus, you're speaking to someone that never. What's the message you're giving him? It seems to be that now people take a different kav, a different thing. You could connect now. You could connect now with the Rebbe. Now the way it is. I remember I say, by Farbrengen, the Rebbe uses Chazal very often. The Rebbe Rashab said, is in his room, closes the door, he learns the Torah, and he's connecting with Atzmas. You could connect. You could connect now. You listen to the Rebbe, and you dwell what the Rebbe says, and you carry out what the Rebbe wants, the Rebbe's heroes. You're making a connection. Tov Shin Pei, Tov Shin Chof, Tov Shin Tezvot. You're making the connection. Tov Shin Pei, the way you are. You can make the connection. You know, I say this very often. I don't know how many years ago it was. But I felt in myself, I need to strengthen the connection. So there is, they put on the telephone, Sicha Yoimus. What's Sicha Yoimus? Every day, they choose a short Sicha, about 10 minutes. They play, connected to the day. It's not a whole Farbrengen, it's not a whole. Every, huh?
Mas them telephone.
Oh, that is. I made a achlotze, and with Hashem's help, I read in the morning, I say brachas, I say brachas HaTorah, and I listen to the Sicha. That sets the tone for my day. Listen to the Rebbe says. 10 minutes. Direct what the Rebbe said. Then I go out of the day. This is the Haschol. And I tell you something else. To this day, learning Chassidus. What I enjoy the most learning Chassidus, I learn a Maimer, and then I listen to what the Rebbe says in the Maimer. He doesn't go on the paper. In the Hanoch, the way the Rebbe says it. I remember once, I was learning, I think it's one of the longest Mamorim, V'shafte B'sholem. And I learned it, and I had questions in the mind. But not stam questions, like bothering questions to me. I don't have. Let me listen how the Rebbe says it. I listen, all my questions are answered. There was a few words here and there that didn't put it into the Hanocha for some reason, didn't think it's important. Those few words here and there, Alpha. He never says it. Make the connection. Where you are, how you are, make the connection. You also the Ohel. I remember once Lexman Nachtoli stool and lang stark, and he stood in the corner, and he was crying, like a kid by a father. You make the connection. You make the connection. It's not that it's throw. One of the ones, the Mishpacha was speaking in ahead. This mother, the Mishpacha, she learned in a Litvish girls' school. And in that school, they told her about the Rebbe and about Lubavitch. It's not a full thing. And then, on her own, she realized in Lubavitch something different. And she goes to the Ohel, and she made a connection with the Rebbe on her own. The Rebbe is Rosh Tevis, Reish B'nai Yisrael. This is the Kopf. Everyone could make a connection. Everyone could make a connection with the Rebbe. Mulchaim, the Eibush of the Helbsh and Matzlich on herself. We stay with our family. We have to bring the Rebbe to the family. We have to bring the Rebbe to the table. How much will we Matzliach? We don't know. But we have to do our part. We have to show our family the Rebbe is dear to us, special to us, unique to us. Bring the Rebbe. Bring the Rebbe to the table. They have to see this Rebbe's tired. They have to see the Rebbe's the Rebbe. They say on kids, they don't pick up on what you want them to pick up on. This that you don't want them to notice, this is what they notice. I see, now I'm a Talmid 10 years. What did they remember? Not what I prepared. And I said, sometimes I say something, that I remember. That's what they pick up on. That's me. It's not what I prepared to say, it's me. I have to see I was tired. And then you need something, you write to the Ohel, an absolute Tev, you write to the Ohel. Das ist bringen Rebbe zum Tisch. Das ist einfach Chaim. No, Simon, wir machen Achlot, if I do this Be'ilas, I make Achlot for myself, figure something out more, bring the Rebbe more in the house. Everyone can make Achlot if they want, or Shvat. There's Rotzen, make a Keli, the Ashpoa, you know that everyone comes asking the Rebbe for brachas. Everyone gets brachas to the Rebbe. The Chassidim, you know, the Rebbe is not a brachas machine. Make a keli. Make a keli for the bracha. Make a achlot. Make a achlot. Everyone in their union find episa achlot. Not a big thing. It's too big, we won't be able to do it. Achlot is wegen Rebbe Merin Shtub. Chaim.
The process that I'm playing now.
Black wire. Two letters.